Welcome to the first ever Nordic Growth Hackers event here in Copenhagen. My name is Morten Elk. I'm the founder and CEO of SimpleSite, and we and a couple of sponsors felt that it would be nice to have such an event in Copenhagen. And basically today you're going to meet 6 speakers that are going to tell you specific and actionable things about growth hacking, about tools, about the grit of it all, and I hope you're going to go home inspired and full of ideas. Before we start, I'm going to say just a few things that are embarrassingly simple, but represent my way of understanding why growth hacking is an important tool. I'm just going to look at 2 companies that have different business models. The first company is a company that grows virally. We're going to look at 2 situations. It has 2% weekly growth, or it has 4% weekly growth. If you look at those 2 companies 2 years later, one will have grown by 8 times, the other one will have grown by a whopping 59 times. So company number 1 is nice. Company number 2 is just incredibly magnificent, fantastic. And they should be buying their stock by now. And the only difference, in quotes, is a factor of 2 in one key metric. Look at another type of company, one that lives by paid acquisition, or search engine marketing, for instance. I know something about that because that's how SimpleSite grows. Now, a company like that lives by basically making lifetime value out of clicks that they pay for. So if you pay for clicks in Google AdWords, for instance, you might be able to pay 1 krona, or you might be able to pay 2 kronas per click. That will typically be a difference of being on page 3 and getting no volume at all, or being at the top of page 1 and getting millions and millions of clicks every single day. Now again, that's the difference between a no company and a fantastic company. So basically, not looking at the value proposition or the customers or the segment or the beauty of the product, just a factor of 2 for those 2 companies means the difference between being not a company at all or being one of the world's greatest companies. So to actually increase something by 100%, if it's the right metric in the company, can really make a huge difference. Now, to increase the key KPI by a factor of 2, or by 100%, is not easy. But it is doable. In particular, it's doable if you're a young company. It's much harder if you're old and mature. But for a young company, all those optimizations haven't really been done yet. And there are ways of getting from 1 to 2. 10% at a time, or 15% at a time, or 5% at a time. And those ways are what growth hacking is all about. So basically, in every single company, there's going to be one key metric that really makes the difference between make or break. Growth hacking is about finding ways of making that better. Whether it's organic traffic or viral coefficient or the conversion rate or the lifetime or the engagement, there's something that really drives your company and you want to make that better. And growth hacking is basically a huge toolbox of how to increase that. Now, growth hacking encompasses typically all aspects of your business. There's going to be PR, there's going to be marketing, there's going to be product, there's going to be customer support involved in it. But basically finding out how to make the connections and increasing that is very valuable. Very often, in my opinion, more valuable than how beautiful the solution is or whether you found the exact right market. There's a lot of optimization that can make a lot of difference. So as I said, and as the Germans would say, we have ways of improving things. And what we're going to talk about today is basically those ways. Things that work, things that didn't work, nice tricks, intelligent tricks, just blind luck. We're going to talk about it all. Typically, a lot of us are doing this already. We're all reading blogs coming out of Silicon Valley. And we're following Sean Ellis or Eric Ries or whatever. It's just much more fun if we would start talking together in Copenhagen and start sharing those stories with each other. So we meet at all kinds of events, all of us, and we have fine-tuned our pitches. So we can talk about the value proposition, the beauty of the product and the market and all that, but very infrequently we meet up and talk about the mechanics down in the machine room. That's what it's all about today. And that's what the 6 speakers that are coming will tell you about. So the program is that we have 3 speakers to begin with. 15 minutes each. Then we're going to do a panel with some questions, whatever you feel like asking. And please be active, because that's what's going to make it fun. Then we take a break, we take 3 more talks, we do a panel again, and then there's beer and pizza. And basically what you bring home today will depend a lot on whether you're active in the panels, and a lot on whether you spend the pizza time not just eating pizza but actually talking to people, grabbing hold of the speakers or each other, or those that are actually interested in questions, find out who they are and start discussing and sharing tools. And the good news is that we're going to do this again in 3 months. So if you reach something today, do it next time. So I think that basically rounds up the introduction, and we're ready to go to the speakers.